3:17 a.m. The sky burned with missile trails and every radar beep screamed impending doom. Across the globe, armies were moving. Fleets sailed, jets pierced the darkness. One nation faced the unimaginable, the United States. The world had mobilized. What would happen if every country attacked at once? The answer was about to reveal itself. Could America survive this nightmare? In the Pacific, the horizon shimmered with approaching fleets. Aircraft carriers bristled with jets and missiles. Submarines prowled beneath the waves like hidden predators. The U.S. Navy scrambled destroyers and carriers. Explosions lit the night as missiles streaked through the sky. Radar operators tracked hundreds of blips. Could the Pacific coast withstand the first strike? Or was this only the beginning? On land, paratroopers and elite units dropped behind the beaches. In Seattle, armored troops fought airborne forces trying to seize the port. Smoke choked the streets as buildings shook from explosions. Soldiers relayed frantic radio messages. Contact front, enemy advancing. A lone ranger unit held a bridge over Puget Sound, buying critical hours. Their courage became the first spark of hope. Would reinforcements arrive in time? Attention shifted to the Atlantic. Convoys approached New York, Boston, and Miami. Coastal defenses sprang into action. Barriers, naval guns, and missile batteries. Drone swarms intercepted incoming aircraft. Bridges collapsed under artillery fire. Roads cracked as armored columns pushed inland. Civilians fled as streets turned into battlegrounds. Could the East Coast survive the first wave? The Midwest became America's unexpected front line. Airborne drops scattered across Kansas and Missouri to seize airfields and communication hubs. Armored units struggled against rivers, forests, and prepared defenders. A local farmer and his family turned their barn into an observation post, relaying enemy movements. Improvised civilian teams appeared everywhere, creating small but vital advantages. Each act of courage shifted the tide slightly. Would the heartland hold? Down south, border regions faced rapid strike enemy units. Desert and swamp slowed their advance. U.S. forces set ambushes along key roads. In Texas, a ranger squad stopped an armored convoy at a river crossing, destroying vehicles. Local hunters and militia turned natural terrain into traps. Each success, no matter how small, nudged the nation closer to survival. What would the next move be? The skies erupted in chaos. Fighter jets streaked across clouds. Drone swarms collided mid-air. Bombers dropped explosives with deadly precision. Hypersonic missiles cut through the stratosphere, intercepted by layered defenses. A pilot narrowly avoided a missile aimed at civilians. Every skirmish tested skill, nerve, and split-second judgment. Could the skies remain under control? Invisible battles raged in cyberspace. Enemy hackers targeted communications, power grids, and intelligence networks. U.S. cyber units worked tirelessly, isolating breaches and launching counterattacks. A single server could mean life or death for an entire city. Analysts and tech specialists became unsung heroes in a war fought in shadows. Which alert would signal real disaster? By the third day, the invasion's scale was staggering. Landings, air assaults, and covert infiltrations pressed every front. In Los Angeles, a civilian engineer guided troops through subway tunnels, creating traps and escape paths. In Oregon, a ranger unit delayed an armored column with explosives. Human ingenuity often outweighed numbers. Could the West Coast endure another night? Across the Atlantic, coalition forces struggled to coordinate. Miscommunication sparked clashes among the invaders. U.S. forces exploited the gaps. Missile strikes leveled staging areas, while drones destroyed supply convoys. Some cities survived, others burned. Streets turned into smoke-filled labyrinths. Civilians trembled as soldiers held the line. Would the East Coast hold or crumble next? The fourth week brought heavier fighting. Coastal cities stabilized, but inland battles intensified. In Kansas, armored troops struggled across open fields. Snipers and small units striking supply lines. Towns became fortresses. Civilians reinforced homes and converted factories into supply depots. A volunteer medic navigated artillery-littered highways to save soldiers. The war was no longer abstract. It was immediate and human. Could the heartland continue resisting? Cyber attacks grew bolder. Enemy hackers tried satellites and networks, but US teams adapted. Recon drones were blinded, convoys misdirected, and infrastructure remained online. Electricity, water, and communications survived. The invisible war mirrored the visible one, both sides racing for advantage. Who would control the digital battlefield? The skies remained a deadly chessboard. Drone swarms clashed over the Midwest. Stealth fighters engaged in close combat. Missiles streaked overhead, intercepted midair. Near Chicago, a pilot guided a damaged jet back to base while dodging fire. Acts of heroism punctuated macro chaos. Could individual courage change the outcome? By the second month, the tide subtly shifted. Invaders, though numerous, faced stretched supply lines, exhaustion, and miscommunication. American forces reclaimed territory. Landings were repelled. Armored columns bogged down in forests and swamps. Small units struck decisively. Strategy and cleverness began to outweigh sheer numbers. Would this momentum continue? In New York, a firefighter coordinated barricades and medical aid under constant air attack. Civilians directed troops through rubble-filled streets. Urban centers became living battlefields. Grand strategy collided with acts of courage on the streets. Could the city survive this relentless assault? By the third month, invaders faltered. Logistics broke down. Rivalries emerged. U.S. counterattacks caused pockets of collapse. In the South, forces withdrew after repeated ambushes. In the Midwest, civilian intelligence allowed troops to intercept armored convoys. Ingenuity became decisive. Could the coalition recover? At sea, the U.S. Navy regained dominance. Carrier groups, drones, and missile defenses neutralized forward staging areas. Submarines were hunted. Pacific and Atlantic waters became traps for enemy forces. The oceans became allies in defense. Would the invaders retreat completely? Cyber operations gave the U.S. an edge. Counterattacks disrupted satellites, communications, and command centers. Enemy forces became vulnerable on land, sea, sky, and in digital space. Invisible victories shifted the war's balance. Could the digital advantage be maintained? By the fourth month, battles were cinematic. Cities bombed, rebuilt, and defended again. Armored troops fought forests and swamps. Snipers created deadly corridors. Drone swarms contested the skies. Heroic acts, a ranger holding a bridge, a pilot saving civilians, are inspired hope. Smoke choked skylines. Streets became fire and steel. Who would hold the final lines? By the sixth month, coalition forces retreated. Attrition, exhaustion, and American counterattacks forced withdrawals. Cities lay damaged, but human resilience shone. The impossible invasion had failed. America survived through preparation, ingenuity, and courage. But could the next threat strike even harder? Even in victory, questions lingered. Could lessons today prevent disaster tomorrow? Could another impossible scenario unfold? The echoes of this global clash would haunt generations, a reminder of the thin line between survival and annihilation.